gerontology, senior issues. Seriously, and this is the honest truth. There are gay and lesbian people who, and you know, it's only because in the last 42 years that gay and lesbian people have come out in large numbers and identified themselves and lived their lives openly. When those people 42 years ago, today, they're in their 70s and they're in their 80s and they're in nursing care and nursing homes. Many of them are now facing the same prejudices from people that they fought against 40 years ago. You have issues of, you know, visitation and who can come see them and who can make decisions for them, who can make decisions in their care. They have all these same issues, and people, when their caregivers, depending on what their crazy religious notions are, sometimes exercise cruelty to seniors in their care in nursing homes and in rest homes and places like that. That's an issue that has only been, the surface has only been scratched, because you have people who have lived their lives with another partner, but because marriage isn't legal, they can't get their Social Security, they can't draw on the partner's Social Security, they can't get Medicaid, they can't get Medicare. This, I mean, it's a real problem for a lot of older gay people that wasn't present 30 years ago. And that's an issue that is really going to, I think, as for most baby boomers, I'm a boomer, 1959, I guess. But anyway, as the baby boomer generation, because the baby boomers are the ones that came out in large numbers then in the 60s and the 70s. And as these people get old and go into senior care, gerontology, and those issues, that's an issue that really needs some examination that hasn't gotten any heretofore. Just saying.
Yes, that's a scary thought, because if something were to happen to her, she's already told me her last wishes. But say if this would happen today or tomorrow, God forbid, I would not have a right to make that choice. It would have to be her children, even though she would want me to make that choice for her. And I think that needs to be changed too.
I also want to add on that question. I think sometimes our social acceptance actually has surpassed our laws, and our science has sort of surpassed our laws too, because because there are gay parents out there that are having children together through surrogates and everything. I mean, I imagine, and you could speak more intelligently to this than I ever could, but that you have to layer that with all kinds of legal documents to make sure you're protecting both parents' rights. And so, you discounted, because I know there's such a focus on marriage rights, but marriage is how our federal government gives away a lot of rights to people. And either we have to discard marriage as the vehicle to give those rights, or we have to embrace all the different couples and families that are out there to help protect them. And one of the issues I have with a lot of people are all about state rights, and they say, well, just let each state decide. And we're ending up with a complex and very difficult set of rules that vary state to state to state, that end up when you do things. My partner was in a civil union in Vermont, and the weird thing is now is that we've layered all our legal documents and everything like that, but she's still civil unioned in Vermont to someone else, because you have to live in Vermont for a year to have that civil union annulled or divorced or whatever word you want to put on it. Which is very strange, because we can't go to Illinois and get civil union. We can't go, or is it marriage? I don't even know. See, I don't pay attention that much anymore because I can't go do it. But so we end up with this complex system of laws that don't serve, this nation's population. They really don't.
Because separate isn't equal.
Right, exactly.
The states tried that once before, and we had a civil war about it. Just saying.
As far as legally, all the things that you have to do, you know, to protect your family. I mean, without having just like the simple, you know, marriage license that's recognized both on state and federal levels, you do have to spend quite a bit of money and thought and time in getting all the different forms, everything from doing, you know, powers of attorney, living wills. When we had our attorney, when we were conceiving, when we had Drew and I was pregnant, wanted us to do adoption. Dawn refused to do adoption because biologically, genetically, he was her son, and you know, I was carrying him, so biologically he was both of our children. So we didn't do the adoption. We actually filed a co-parenting agreement, and then actually went to a judge that, you know, stated because of the biological connection that he had to both of us, that we were both legally his parents. But our attorney from Indianapolis had to go to a more liberal judge in Lafayette to get that signed. And so we actually, you know, did that in lieu of the actual adoptions. And it's something that at least every 5 years, you know, we need to go back in and get updated, because, you know, our attorney tells us that if you don't update them every 5 years, you know, that, you know, your families or parents or, you know, whoever, you know, can come in and trump even those documents that you may have signed, you know, 8 years ago. So it's a continuing process until there is some sort of state and federal, well, and speaking to just any time that you travel, you know, we have to carry, you know, our powers of attorney and everything. Yeah, we have a little safe box that we have that, but, you know, when you're flying to Seattle for a little trip, I mean, you're not going to pay the extra money to carry around this $20 in your overhead bag. So, you know, it's a challenge, you know, as far as that's, you know, concerned. But, you know, if you're focused on protecting your family, it is something that does need to have if they're wanting to legally protect their family, as any other, you know, male, female, mother-child married unit, you know, automatically has through just the simple act of marriage.